Alright, let's see if this works.
Junk Shop Libraries Improv Bible Study. Are you ready for this? A funny thing happened on the way to the library. This is going to be the second time I have recorded Deuteronomy chapter 4 because something bananas happened with my camera the first time. I know we've had some camera difficulties here in the library in the past. You ain't seen jack. So, let me put it to you this way. If Deuteronomy 4 seems like it drags a little, look on the bright side. You only got to go through it once. It's fun to have fun, but you have to know how. All right. Deuteronomy, 4th chapter. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them from among you. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great? Who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons, and thy sons' sons. Especially the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, Gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And ye came near, and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye, therefore, good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves, and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun, and the moon, and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldst be driven to worship them, and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But the Lord hath taken you, and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. Furthermore, the Lord was angry with me for your sakes, and sware that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go in unto that good land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not go over Jordan, but ye shall go over, and possess that good land. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you. and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything, which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee. For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God, he will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live? Or hath God essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Unto thee it was shewed, that thou mightest know that the Lord he is God, there is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee, and upon earth he shewed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out of his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider it thine heart, that the Lord he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath, there is none else. And thou shalt keep, therefore, his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever. Then Moses severed 3 cities on this side Jordan toward the sun rising, that the slayer might flee thither, which should kill his neighbor unawares, and hated him not in times past, and that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live. Namely, Bezer in the wilderness in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead of the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan of the Manassites. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies, and the statutes, and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt, on this side Jordan, in the valley over against Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote after the nights which were on this side Jordan toward the sunrise. From Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the plain on this side Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. And that's Deuteronomy 4. And I see my camera acting up again, and I am annoyed. I'm going to figure out a way to make this work, because I am not reading that again. Okay, let's see. On the plus side, I've had a little more time to let this chapter percolate than I normally do while I'm improving the Bible study. So I don't think I'm going to leave anything out this time. First and foremost, verse 8. What nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law? Yep, I find it difficult to believe there's any other country on the face of the earth that has such a just and righteous book of instructions? Goodness knows the level of barbarity some other cultures may have sunk to that didn't have instructions like this for forced abortions on suspectedly unfaithful wives, the stoning to death of disobedient children, and a absolute butt-ton of slave-keeping instructions. Jesus Christ. Okay, and then more: don't make statues, don't worship other gods. And then, round about the 20s verse, we get as clear an indication as we could reasonably expect to get that this book was not written down contemporaneous to the events it's describing. Because that is straight up talking about the Babylonian exile. So this is a later parenthetical addition which explains not only the incredibly specific predictions of what would happen during the Babylonian exile, but also the fact that if you look carefully, you'll see that chapter 4 is a chapter-length summary of the preceding 3 chapters, which is a 3-chapter-length summary of the preceding 3 books, which is a 3-book summary of the story of this people, leaving out the gory details that were included in the Book of the Wars of the Lord, which has apparently been lost to history. It's about as meta gets, isn't it? Holy crap. And then a quick review of the sanctuary cities doctrine, where if you kill somebody truly by mistake, you've got places you can run to, and a list of the ones on this side Jordan, eastward toward the sun rising, where the 2.5 tribes that didn't want to drag their little ones, their women, and all their much cattle into this new crusade to take over the land of the promise. I just completely lost track of that sentence. This camera business just completely left me all lost and confused. Of course, realistically, I probably just could have skipped this chapter, couldn't I? I could have said, I could have just cut in a quick clip of Dick Van Dyke, right? I think what's to happen all happened before. Jiminy Cricket. I am so ready for Moses to die. This guy has been repeating himself back to back to back for his last 2 books and hadn't hardly had anything else happen except for last chapter's side note about the reason why there aren't any giants anymore is because God saw fit to snuff them all out to make room for the other chosen people. And right now we're just in the time of Moses marking time, filibustering. Filibustering! That's what he's doing. That is straight up what Moses is doing. He is filibustering because as soon as he's done, he has to go up the mountain and die so that the rest of the people can go over into the land of the promise. So hopefully Moses runs out of green eggs and ham here at some point and can go up the mountain and die so we can move on with our lives. Holy crap. All right, well, we'll be back soon with Deuteronomy 5. Hopefully something happens there. If you're not already a member of our merry little band, Poke the Pope to subscribe. Whether you're already a member or not, hit the little blue thumbs up down there. I need me some validation today. Holy moly. There's something else I was going to tell you. You are correct. I should have a whiteboard up here. All right. Well, y'all take care. Be safe. We'll see you again next time, and hopefully something happens in Chapter 5. Oh, let me know what you think about the intro. Yay? Nay? I don't know. Bye now.